How's it going, everyone? It's me, Vivi, and welcome to another Ratchet Clank video. After the whole Orvis storyline from A Crack in Time, one must wonder, Orvis created Clank, a Zoni, creating another being. That's Zoni in essence, however not physically, looking like a Zoni 100%. This Zoni, Orvis calls it, or him, for that matter, XJ0461, implying that the Zoni have that codename in particular. XJ representing their kind, their line of society, and the code 0461 being that number representing Clank. Just what is Clank? We believe he's a soul of a Zoni, a soul brought to life by Orvis, who calls himself Clank's father, stating that he created him in the first mnemonic chamber. Orvis, his father, the creator of Clank, wanted a senior caretaker to eventually take his place. Orvis made sure to upload a programmed version of himself in Clank's subconscious in order to eventually go through his proper training, something he felt was his purpose. If Orvis is his father, then what about his mother? Is there such a thing as a mother figure to Clank? Let's not focus on the reimagining, where it is believed that lightning strike at the factory on Core 2 is what created Clank. We're gonna stick to the original timeline, alright? Going back to the game that started it all, Clank had a mother. At least Clank saw it as his mother. Clank was considered a defect within the factory. Drek's factory on Core 2 was designed to create sentry bots, enemies created by the Blarg in Drek Industries. That would explain Clank's serial number B5429671, apart from his codename being XJ. How did Clank appear exactly? There's no lightning in the classic game, no power outage or nothing of such sort in the classic game. So, how does this computer, designed to manufacture sentry bots, how does it create Clank? Was it intentional? Or was it clearly a defect, just like that? One might say, well, if you don't consider A Crack in Time, then yeah, it's just a defect, right? In a way, yes, but do recall that this computer typed a message to Clank, and Clank felt like this computer was his mother.
That should do it.
Mom?
Oh, brother.
I tried, Mom. I know.
Hey, look! A sister!
I will try to make you proud, Mom.
So, why is she his mother exactly? Does this computer even have any type of connection with Orvis? It's likely so. If you thought TJ Fixman, writer of the future saga, would disregard his mother from the original game, well, I don't think he did. Core 2 and Orvis was brought up in one of the galactic trivias from A Crack in Time. You know, those texts you'd get during load screens. Let me bring up the exact text right now. When the Great Clock was initiated, Orvis locked himself inside to protect it from those seeking to use it for personal gain. During his reign, he only left 3 times, once to planet Core 2, once to planet Visceron, and once to planet Xanathar. It is said that Orvis left the Great Clock only 3 times. Logically, the Great Clock should be heavily protected after what Orvis thought, so we understand why Orvis would limit his travels. Out of these 3 locations, Core 2 was one of them. Okay, let's connect some dots, shall we? The only reason Orvis would leave his chamber was to do something that would benefit the Great Clock. Well, at least when it comes to 2 locations, Core 2 and Visceron. As for planet Xanathar, he got tricked by Nefarious, who he thought was a scientist wanting to discuss their accomplishments. Talk about being naive, eh? Certain character traits these Zoni creatures have is being naive. Clank had that sort of attitude in the beginning of Ratchet and Clank. Planet Visceron, he found Sigmund and gave him the role of junior caretaker of the Great Clock. As for planet Quartu, I wonder what it could be. Quartu, which I assume was his very first important mission, he created Clank. Now whether or not he created the spirit or essence of Clank on Quartu is up in the air. I'd like to believe Clank's spirit was created prior, a separate entity. Somewhere perhaps in the Great Clock, or in their own realm. As a matter of fact, the Zoni aren't biological creatures. A Crack in Time states the following. Contrary to popular belief, the Zoni are neither mechanical nor biological. They are sentient beings of pure energy. In order to survive in another dimension, they must confine themselves within special metal bodies. Orvis, having created Clank's energy being, he eventually discovered Quartu's factory and decided to visit the planet. The perfect place to put Clank's soul into a robot, or call it special armor. The Zoni do need metal bodies to survive in Ratchet's dimension. Orvis, since he wanted someone to take his place, it explains why Clank stands out a lot more, next to the typical Zoni. As a way to limit his presence, Orvis, I'd like to believe, put a motherly figure essence within Drek's computer. That computer, I'd imagine, already existed. Orvis thought of adding some sort of tiny little essence of Zoni in there, aka Clank's mom. Since Clank is a manifested Zoni creature, that small peck of Zoni essence within that computer created a mind of its own, one closely attached to Clank. Look at the infobots. 2 of them were released for Clank to see. Those 2 robots were released by his mom. And I don't know if you ever paid attention to this, but their eyes, the eyes of the infobots, they really remind us of the Zoni. Coincidence or not? The first thing that Clank sees through that infobot was Drek's plan on destroying planets. And the second infobot was about the deplanetizer on Veldon's surface. You have to wonder, why? Why would a mother computer want Clank to help Ratchet? Did she know that Clank would crash land on Veldon and find Ratchet, turning out to be his best friend in the long run? This is where I believe seeing into the future comes into play. Orvis, a creature of energy and creator of the Great Clock, he can see into the future. Look, if it's not for seeing into the future, then why would Clank's mother risk Clank's life? She knew. Orvis looked into the future and programmed his mother to release an infobot at the perfect, I guess destined moment, and to release Clank at the perfect moment. If Clank had popped up at the wrong moment, he would have gotten himself killed. Yes, he was being chased by a robot, and that robot, which was chasing Clank, resulted in Clank crash landing on Veldon, something I believe Orvis saw into the future. Orvis knew that Clank would meet Ratchet, Ratchet being the one that would look after Clank until the time was right for Clank to become a senior caretaker. With Orvis not around, we can believe that Ratchet was Clank's protector. At least, I'd like to believe that Orvis saw Ratchet as Clank's protector. I also believe it wouldn't be far-fetched to say that Orvis was keeping an eye on both of them. Clank being a Zoni, basically. Orvis and Clank having a connection, seeing through Clank's eyes, and seeing Ratchet at the same time. It's not far-fetched. I think in the end, TJ Fixman thought, alright, for so long, Clank's mother was out of the picture. Let me at least set up a couple of references in A Crack in Time. Hey, we got some stuff at least. Well, the state of Quartu is unknown. There is a trace of the factory within Clank's subconscious, and while facing Nefarious during his final phase, he mentions how he'd demolish the factory in which Clank was born if he would get his hands on the Great Clock. I would have loved for his mother to be a full-on mentioned subject, vocally by Orvis. So perhaps in the end, his mother's connection to Orvis was left for us to speculate. In the end, this is VV with his little overthinking head of his. But hey, it's fun to theorize. And I'd like to read your own theories, guys, okay? So thank you for watching. So as usual, like I just said, theories, questions, or anything of such sort, leave it all in the comment section below. And as always, I've been Vivi, and thank you so much for watching.